My name's Steve Ross. I'm senior adult pastor. Previously fire chief of Amarillo for 20 years. I was in the fire service 39 years total, and married Deanna Reagan in 1979. We were married for 42 years. In 2020, I was attending seminary, and it was during COVID. I felt like we had everything planned in life. We thought we had everything in order and exactly where we wanted it. I was married to Deanna for 42 years, and we had gotten grandchildren, and we had an awesome neighborhood and awesome neighbors and awesome family. And I had gone to seminary and was close to graduating, and I was preaching a sermon on John 14, and Deanna went in to take a nap. So I preached the sermon and recorded it, and her alarm kept going off in the middle of my video, and I was a little aggravated about it. So I went in there, and when I walked in, I could see that she had gone on to heaven. And like I said, did 39 years in the fire service, so I have a lot of experience with that. And I knew we wouldn't get her back, but we tried. As the song goes, in a New York minute, my life changed. I went from being totally in control to being totally out of control. The first person that I saw outside of my family was Bart. He told me about 2 Corinthians 1, about that it would provide with me the tools to be able to comfort others with the comfort that God would give me. And it made zero sense to me. I kind of went into a Elijah wilderness experience, went into a fog, and really just wanted to be by myself. Didn't want to have a lot to do with anybody, and just wanted to go in and reflect and think. And so I went into the wilderness, and the whole time I was there, God took care of me with His Word. He took care of me with friends. And so I was in my cave of Elijah, and then Holly calls and says, "Hey, you need to come to life group." And I said, "Holly, I really don't want to go to life group." And I said, "I really just want to be by myself." And I remember the story of Elijah when hid in this cave from Jezebel. And God said, "Elijah, why are you here?" Well, I feel like that's what He told me. He said, "Steve, why are you here? Why are you in your office? You have work to do." That I started reading the Word, and my life group started bringing me back, and I started becoming social. And what happened to me was the Lord put in my heart that He would fill me, He would carry me, He would minister to me, He would teach me, and I would go give that away. And then it made sense to me what Bart said. He said that I would now have the tools, because of the wilderness I had gone through, to be able to comfort others with the same comfort God gave me. And then it made sense to me exactly what I needed to go do. Just shortly before she went to heaven, like a month before, we had a conversation regarding about, I had been at seminary and we were listening to missionaries, and these missionaries were risking their lives on a daily basis. And I just said, what would we give to, we risk our life to save a life, but what do we risk to save a soul? And I just asked her, I said, would we be willing to give our lives to save a person, one person from hell? And she's a deep thinker. About 2 weeks before she died, she came to me and she goes, "I would." And I said, "You would what?" And she said, "I would give my life to save someone." Well, Bart preached her funeral, and her nephew, which she loved very, very much, came to Christ. And whenever she went on, that you find out, do you really believe God? Do you really believe what He said? And you have to walk and live your faith. You put feet to your faith, to where before it was just lip service. You'd always say it. I knew the correct things to say. I'd been raised in the church. I knew, but I internalized it. And it wasn't for God. He knew exactly what my heart was. It was for me to define my relationship to Him. And in effect, really totally surrender to the fact that I'm not in control of anything. And the fact that I walk in faith with Him, and through that obedience, my relationship with Him grew so much closer.